Hey guys, I'm Hunter Jenkins, and this is Crazy Until Genius Podcasts. We were tired of hearing polished success stories that felt out of reach, so we're flipping the script. I talk to high achievers who started where most of us do, ambitious but unsure of the next step. We break down how they really got there, the habits, the hard choices, and the lessons that changed everything. You're crazy until you're successful, then you're a genius. And today, I have the really great pleasure of talking to my friend, Aaron Lee.
Hey, glad to be here.
Aaron,
thank you, Hunter. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been too long.
Same.
Aaron right now is running VITL. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about VITL and kind of how VITL's going for you.
VITL has been one of my greatest joys. I'm now almost 40.
You look great.
Can't believe it.
You look great,
I've lost my hair. It's gone. Not because of stress, just old age. But I've been doing door to door for 20 years now.
Yeah.
And shout out to the company I worked at before, which was Vivint Smart Home.
Okay.
Owe them a lot. Incredible people still there. But when I left Vivint 3 years ago, it was very, very intentional. Not that I had arrived financially. The pursuit of money is always still there.
Yeah.
But it is fun to get to a point in life where money's not what's driving decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because for the 18 years I was at Vivint, I made good money. And so at the end of my career there, I got to a point where money wasn't the motivator, and it was more of a decision of like, what's going to give me fulfillment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the reason I highlight that, and there's kind of an emotional story of what led to wanting to be an owner of a company for me.
Yeah.
And, without going into detail of that story, I made a lot of commitments to people that meant a lot to me. And I was in a position where I couldn't keep those commitments because I wasn't the one in control.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that I need the control, but because I didn't have it, I made commitments I couldn't keep. And it was me making the commitments, not knowing I couldn't keep them because I wasn't in charge of the books. And so when that chapter ended, I decided to be an owner to be able to be in control so I can just keep the commitments I made. So the reason I share that when you ask how VITL's going, it has been the greatest 3 years of my life as far as business goes.
Yeah.
Because I'm at like the top of my game.
Yeah.
I've learned from years and years and years of how to do things wrong. I've learned how to do it right. And I've really tried to make my business more than a place where people come to make money.
Yeah.
But a place where people can level up. They can become the best versions of themselves. But at the end of the day, for me, it was a place where if people did come to work and I made a commitment to, that I can keep the commitments.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what means the world to me. So it's been good. The last 3 months have been kind of crazy. We're a solar company.
Yep. Yep.
And as some know, this big, beautiful bill from Donald Trump kind of hit us in the face.
So big. So beautiful.
And that was actually good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. So
Practiced it.
Yeah, it's tough, but I've been through, and Hunter, you're probably the same. I've been through enough business cycles that there is, even my closest friends that are in different industries, different businesses, there's always these moments where the roof and the house is on fire.
Yeah.
It's never perfect. Like there's always problems to solve. And the truth is, the higher you get up, it's those who can stay steady solving those problems that make it through and see the rainbow on the other side. So the last couple months have been tough, but it's been cool to watch what leaders we have in our organization that are loyal. They see the vision. They kept the steady hand. The bill's now passed, and we have a really clear direction of how to go dominate again.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, and I want to get into some of these concepts that I'm going to write these down as you bring them up. And I want to think about the 20-year-old who has a lot of ambition, who watches a lot of Goggins videos, Hermosi videos, right? And I want to take that ambition and then I want to couple it with your wisdom and kind of like reverse engineer the steps of how you got there. So, I mean, let's start with, you talk about you're at the top of your game right now because you learned a lot of failures or learned how to do things incorrectly. Maybe walk me through the last 20 years. What are the biggest pain point lessons that you've had and how you've overcome some of those.
Yeah. Too many to count.
Yeah.
And there's so much to say with that question. You've heard of the 10,000 hour rule.
Mm-hmm.
You can't escape it. I think a lot of people want to be at the top of their game, and they want to skip the steps that you can't ever avoid if you really want the real skill. And that is paying the price, going through the learning curve, going through the ups and downs. And that doesn't mean you can't not work smarter rather than harder. Like, there's a smart way to do it. But what I see right now in the young generation, they sometimes just want it too quick. And they don't realize you can't skip steps. Like, you have to go through the journey. To be at the top of your game in any arena, you have to do the reps. You have to eat your vegetables. Like, there's just no skipping that. And I think that is the foundation you got to work from. But my advice when you ask that question, if you're speaking to the mind of like a 20-year-old,
Yeah.
those are the years where, I'm married, I have 4 kids, lots of responsibilities. We have over 1,000 employees at my company.
Wow.
And, when I was 20, life was simple, much simpler than it is now.
Yeah.
And so my advice is, I think when, young people get started, they chase the money. And that's not bad, but if you skip that wonderful stage, 20 to 30, and all you're doing is chasing the money and you're saying yes just for money, sometimes you're giving up the best years of your life to learn skills.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And, I took a couple roles that didn't quite pay the money that would have lit me up in my 20s. And I was making, more money than I could dream of towards the end of my door-to-door career. And I got offered this corporate position. The corporate position didn't even pay half of what my door-to-door money was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason I took it is I became the top of my game there.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this other side, which was, how to do financial modeling, how to lead through systems and processes, how to lead a company within a company. And what's interesting now, I look at me running a company back to making better money than I ever have in my life. I couldn't do that if I didn't gain those skills, making a little bit less during that time under really, really good mentors that taught me the skills to now run a company. And so my advice is, if you're young, take the job that you want to work for that mentor one day and become like. Even if it doesn't pay you what you're looking for, like, learn the coding, learn the accounting, learn the, HR side, learn the process management side, learn the leadership development side. Be willing to take the jobs to gain the skill sets.
Yeah.
More than the dollars. Get paid what you need to get paid. But when you're young, my advice is, don't get caught up always in the money, get caught up in the skill and the experience. And if you do that right, now as I've, lived through my 30s, there's been years that I've made more money in that year because of the skill I learned than I did in 5 years in my 20s.
Yeah.
So the compounding effect is actually really magical if you do your 20s right. So that's when you say wisdom, that's something for the younger generation to think about.
Yeah.
And to slow down and take those jobs. And then at the end of the day, you got to do the reps. You got to eat your vegetables. Right now I'm going to Wharton University.
Oh, cool.
Took me 2 years to get into. Very hard college. I underestimated how hard it is. It's very hard. It's kicking my butt.
Wow.
So
you were doing it right now?
Yeah, I'm going through their CRO program.
Wow.
And right now I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of VITL Power. And, I had never been in that role prior to taking the role. I worked under a CRO at Vivint for a time. But you always got to level up. But I'm taking this and what they keep telling me in this, it's very hard. Like I signed up for it. I'm crazy. I did not think that it was going to be this hard. It's been really, really hard. But going through it, what they keep saying that keeps me going, because we're learning modeling. We're going through a bunch of case studies of mergers and acquisitions and what went right, what went wrong. And it's just hours of studying and hours of reading. And then I have to write these long reports. And when I get on with my professor, they just keep saying, I know it's long, I know it's hard. You have to eat your vegetables.
Wow.
Like, what else do you expect?
Yeah.
And it's been really cool because I'm definitely the youngest in my cohort. There's a few people in my cohort that are managing over $1 billion of revenue.
Wow.
And like my company this year will do 60 million or something in revenue. And so I'm like the smallest revenue owner in the cohort. And I'm watching them and their mentality in this. It's impressive. So
wow.
At the end of the day, you have to eat your vegetables.
Eat your vegetables.
You have to do the reps.
Do the reps.
And there's just no escaping it.
I'm a mental learner. So an image that came to my mind is if you're camping and you want a fire,
yeah,
you can continually grab those twigs near the campsite and put them in the fire, right? And maybe the flame goes up pretty quickly, pretty high, and you're warm for a second. But the real warmth comes from finding that tree in the forest that you have to saw and carry back.
Yeah.
It's more difficult, but lasts longer.
True. What I love about that, if I can say something
please.
There's been moments of my life that the manual stage, what you just mentioned there, is where the magic is.
Yeah.
And one thing, Hunter, you are one of the best project managers and owners and facilitation of tech that I've seen in my lifetime. And I mean that. I got to work with you really closely for a good amount of time, and I learned a ton. And your care and attention to detail, it's next level. It is really impressive. And the reason I highlight that is, right now I'm working with the dev team on my side. And there's this thing now, AI, it's out.
Yeah.
And it is wild. I mean, what AI can do for you. And if you let it, it's going to get you really lazy.
Yes.
And the reason I highlight your coding and your background, what I'm watching right now in my own dev team is there's developers that are resisting the AI.
Yep.
And then there's developers that are embracing the AI and they're getting 20x on their workload and their production. But the older generation of developers is who are going to dominate, in my opinion, because the younger generation, the biggest thing they're going to have against them, AI is going to do a lot of their coding and their work, and it always takes a developer to understand the depth of the code. So when you get in, before you deploy it, you know where the gaps are, or if it breaks, you know how to go fix it.
Yeah. So on that note, and hey, we're talking tech.
I know.
I love this. Hey, we're on my side now.
This is awesome. This is why I highlight this. You mentioned go find the twigs and the things. Like when I say do the reps, the manual phase, like learning the code and actually learning it, rather than it's available, taking the easy route and having AI do it. It is so beautiful. And like across board, if you're trying to lose weight, you want to get better at door knocking, you want to become a better coder. If you let the tools that are in abundance that are out there do the work for you.
Yes.
Although when you're ready for it, it could add efficiency, but there's moments where you ditch the efficiency, the automation, get down to the manual tracking.
Yeah.
And that is where like real magic is. The handwriting, knowing what yesterday was to tomorrow. Yep. There's a lot of power in that.
So on that note, I have a brother who he teaches at BYU in the computer science department, specializes in AI. He shared a study with me that blew my mind, and I think it was from one of the FANG companies in Silicon Valley, where they ran an analysis on AI as a tool for productivity for engineers across junior and senior spectrum. They found junior engineers, it actually caused a 20% slowdown.
Correct.
And for senior engineers, it increased them by 15%.
That's right.
And it's because the junior engineers who have kind of grown up with this would go down the paths that AI hallucinates because it's imperfect. Couldn't discern that because they haven't put in the manual reps. And then that took them in a longer path. Whereas the senior engineers could see that the AI was incorrect in one regard, correct it, and then move quicker.
Correct.
So this idea of like putting in the reps, eating your vegetables, is a super powerful idea.
Yeah.
And especially as we get more into a world where everything can be done for you quickly and efficiently, there's going to be some real pitfalls in not putting in the reps. I think you're going to see a big gap in people who take time to suffer and sacrifice because they play that long game.
You're right. Social media, I have a 9-year-old right now. And
oh, man.
I know, dude. He's got these friends that already have it. I'm like, what the heck? I've told him not till he's 21, honestly.
Is that your oldest? 9?
He's my oldest.
Okay.
And I feel like this world that we live in now, you nailed it, dude. Like there's so much wonderful and beautiful efficiencies that really enhance our quality of life. But if there's not a time and place and a balance towards those and a healthy relationship with those, you really can lose the meaning of like what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And when it comes to social media, I feel like there's a lot of good from it, but if you don't be careful with it, it's this comparison game, and you really get lost in what you don't have and what you wish you had, and you miss the grind and the hard work. Yeah, like those it's a highlight reel, and you don't get those. And
the highlight reel.
Because going back to your question, you're like, how do people get to where you are with your wisdom? Speaking from younger. It's like, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. And that coding example was so perfect. There is no shortcut. Yeah. There is no shortcut to relationship, to health, to business, to trust. We've heard the quote, you can get trust in, drips and lose it in a bucket. Like, it is what you do consistently over time and not cutting corners, measuring twice, cutting once, that is always going to get you happiness and results.
Let me ask you an odd question, kind of along this line. And I'm trying to envision, because again, like I have this mental image of like a 20-year-old who's ambitious, like maybe hears some of this, rolls their eyes of like, no, like these guys don't get it. Like I can do this, that, and the other way faster than it used to be done. And what we're proposing is a path less traveled to a degree. Yeah. And the word that comes to my mind, and it's a big word, is suffering. Mm-hmm. Is like you have to suffer. Like if you work out, it's like calculated suffering. Yeah. With as much openness as you're willing, how have you suffered, and how has that benefited you in your career? Yeah. In particular.
It's a good question. I remember when I was 20 years old, I went on a church LDS mission.
Oh, cool. Where'd you go?
North Carolina. Cool. Yeah. And shout out to all the elders out there and those who have way more wisdom than you and I both here, Hunter. I remember writing my dad a letter when I was on my mission and apologizing because, the older generation, and now that I'm getting older, you ask the question, what would the advice be to the younger person that thinks that, we don't know what we're talking about? Yeah. Not that we have all the answers, but this older generation, man, they hold on to some really key things that if you actually listened. Yeah. And you slow down and you got to know your, elders and what they have, that there is priceless knowledge there. And so, I apologize to my dad because, he was trying to teach me certain principles. And I remember getting on my mission, watching certain people not willing to work, trying to cut corners, breaking rules. And some of the things I would push back on to my father, he's my first and greatest mentor I've ever had in my life. And we'll always be grateful for him because he is a steady gentleman. He's just a good human being. Still opens my mom's door everywhere he goes. And, he's just an incredible person. And so there's a lot there. I when I look back at my life and in just that example of apologizing to my dad, he was trying to teach me certain things. And one of them was hard work. And I remember as a child, my job was to weed this garden. I grew up on like this mini, farm. And there were moments where I would skip steps. I would say the garden was weeded and it wasn't, just so I can go play with friends, because I couldn't play with friends until that stuff was done. But what would happen inevitably every time, either the crop would die. So my fruit and what would come from a garden is, no more. Or when I would go do the work, if I avoided it for a long period of time, the work was just 10 times more. It was harder, it was more complicated, and there was more damage, right? And so, I remember writing this letter just saying, I'm sorry for being stubborn. I'm sorry for not being focused, not understanding the principles of hard work. And, it's hard to point to one thing, but when you speak of elders, that's what I would highlight, and just, again, can't skip steps.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of wisdom in this idea of, apologizing to your father. And that's not, I'm not saying you, I'm just saying, let's say young boys apologizing to their father. You know, one of the core Christian ideals, like honor thy mother and father.
Yeah.
It might not even, like the utility of it might be more for you, because if that's how you act, you're going to pick up their wisdom and discern areas of imperfection, right? Because everyone's imperfect, but like someone who's been around long enough hopefully has some amount of good ideas that they can pass on.
Yeah.
So having the humility to look to that generation and accept that with gratitude, with the proper amount of discernment, place those principles in your own heart, and then try to pass them down is a very good thing.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's one action item for our 20-year-old imaginative listener, if they're there, is, you know, there's wisdom. There's wisdom in people who have gone through it.
Yeah, and almost being 40, there's been, you know, I just had my fourth kid, and life is busier than it's ever been. And I just got back from a family reunion where my parents, you know, kids, and now their siblings and significant others all were around, and they have like 27 grandkids now.
Yeah.
So a big house, bunch of people.
Super fun.
And just sitting there with my father again, trying to pick his brain and figure out, you know, how did you handle this? And
Yeah.
the advice he has given me throughout my whole life, which is nothing's more important than your family, your children, those relationships. And when you're in the thick of the war, you get lost in the noise, right? Got to make the money, got to buy the house, got to plan for retirement, got to, you know, do this, do that. And it is, you know, someone has told me at one point where life is about harmony.
Yeah.
And if you feel out of balance, like it's impossible really to have balance in certain stages of life. Like when I'm at work all in, I'm not there with the family.
Yeah.
And when I'm with my family, I'm not at work building there. So like the balance has always been a tricky, you know, thing that I think has caused me to be in a toxic state. Cause if I feel out of balance, I feel like I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And the moment someone said, hey, it's about harmony, I kind of gave up this expectation of I have to do one or the other. And, you know, one of my favorite quotes is, it's the tyranny of the or the magic of the and, which means, you know, you kind of turn your creativity off when you say it's either this way or this way. But when you just flip that ideology of like, it's the magic of the and, how do I do this and? And so there's been a lot of things in my life now, because my father was spot on. Nothing means more to me at all than my relationship with my wife, my relationship, you know, within my religion, and my children, and then people that I love and trust. And so how you bring that together, I think is a magical gift. And so there's a lot of times now where my son comes with me to work and he gets to be a part of that environment, which is really cool. I take him on trips when I go visit teams, and we get to go build those relationships. And we do things outside of the work time and in work time. And I've brought those together. He comes to the gym with me. I go to his games. My wife and I, you know, go on dates, and we involve the business. So there's something to be said about, you know, it's not an or, it's an and. And how do you bring the two together? You know, I think it's a powerful thing.
I'm going to quote that again, because that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
The tyranny of the or, and the magic of the and.
Correct.
Combining the different elements of your life. Like I recall me and you had a phone call 2 years ago, maybe, I don't know. You were driving your son to school, and we were talking kind of our objectives of the week or something like that. And you were like, what did you say? You were like, oh, what's your son's name?
Maddox.
Me and Maddox are having hard conversations about making sure that we're telling the truth.
Yeah.
I thought it was so cool
that
on this work call, there's this little boy who, and I kind of threw my 2 cents in. I was like, yeah, man, like, it's really important to tell you the truth for these reasons.
Yeah.
So combining is a super cool idea.
Yeah. You know, during the COVID years, the schooling system got a little weird for me. And so we could go into that. Oh man. I take my kid to this private school now, and it took me a long time to get him in there. And it's a 45-minute drive from where I live.
Yeah.
Every morning. And I remember when we had this convo, a lot of people are like, dude, how do you do it? And that has been the most special time with my son, because it's every morning, it's 45 minutes. We are alone.
Yeah.
And he just talks, and we are getting to know him. He's getting to know me. my ideologies of values I, would hope to instill in them. We get to talk about those things. And so that's been a special moment for me with him. And I remember that. I remember you called, and, those were one of the moments of harmony. That was something I had to go touch base with you on. I picked up. You're on my car speaker. He gets to hear me, how we problem solve and how we talk.
Yeah.
I shared, our conversation that we were just having in that moment, and he was learning how to be honest, because he's a sales guy. He's already learned that from his dad.
Yeah.
And he was trying to play his angles, and he was confused about angles and, where that line is of being honest and not honest.
Yeah.
And we just had that conversation. You called, and I told you about that, and you did. You offered your 2 cents, man. It was very cool. But it's a perfect example of having harmony and leading in front of your kids and setting those expectations.
You're good.
That one was sitting there for a minute.
You're good.
Okay.
So, man, I like with every sentence, I feel like there's 4 paths that my mind wants to go down. And we're shifting away from the 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Now we're going to the 30-year-old, which is me.
Ah, how old are you, Hunter?
I'm 30.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, 30.
Nice.
I have 4 kids as well.
Cool. Wow. That was quick. I'm 39 and I have my 4th kid. Wow. Impressive.
I got a vasectomy at like 28.
Wow.
I was a pretty young dude in that vasectomy clinic, and all the nurses were like, "Are you sure?" And I had a picture of me in a hammock with my 4 kids, and they were all crying. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure."
I'm sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm nervous for that. I've not done that yet. I need to. I'm very nervous.
I got a guy. I actually would love to become like an affiliate to help out the boys.
Okay, cool. I need that referral.
Yeah, I'll get you one. And then last joke on this is, I think women have baby showers. There should be a vasectomy shower.
That makes sense.
You did your
celebration.
Hey,
you did your
duty. You passed down your genetics. Here's a cake.
That's
right?
amazing. I love that. Hey, I would. Yeah, maybe I'll be the first to throw it because I've not done my surgery.
I would come to a vasectomy shower with boys. That would be The boys of VITL too are a good time.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool.
Okay, so give me advice.
Yeah.
And any young dad or mom, who is grinding at work, trying to provide.
Yeah.
This idea of trying to optimize income, because I feel like it's an important concept to have the blessing of freedom to provide the life for your family that they couldn't have without those sacrifices.
Yeah.
That's on one end of this scale. The other end of the scale is not hurting the memories of your kids,
of course,
as they get older and realize dad isn't there.
Yeah.
How do you hit that? I mean, I know you said not balance, and you talked about mixing things in, because I think that's a powerful idea, but how do you calibrate?
Yeah.
If you're ever out of whack, let's say.
Dude, the reason I love this question, Hunter, such a good question, is I feel like I've made all the mistakes you can make here. And, I'm a workaholic, and I love building. I love working.
Your phone, I just like.
I know. I need to turn that over.
Oh, you're good. That was
it's too much.
That wasn't like, I had to do the same thing because like, if I look right now, I think I have like.
No, it's ridiculous.
90 text messages, 50 calls. Like,
it's so much. And here's the thing about work: the bucket's never full.
Yeah.
And people think that if I just do this in a day, I can like go home where it's all done. It's never done.
Yeah.
And work will always take. And so you have to be careful with this. And so the reason I love this is I have a relationship now that I would have dreamed about and did dream about when I was a kid. But it didn't get there without really, really hard moments, really hard times. And my wife, 7 years ago, we hit a spot where, and I talk about this openly because life's what you go through to help others. We had our first child and we hit a really hard moment in our relationship, and I did not understand how to be there for her. She comes from a really rough background, and she fell on postpartum depression in a really hard way. And I, lost myself in work because she was, having a hard time, and we kind of, grew apart, and that was a really hard moment in our relationship.
Yeah.
We since survived that, have had 3 kids since that, and did some really incredible work. and how to redefine what we want in this relationship if we're going to do this, because I can and have lost myself in work.
Yeah.
And so here's the two things I would say in that, and these are life lessons here. Number one, life is all about expectations.
Yeah.
And, Tony Robbins says something that I absolutely love. He says, hey, if you want to change your disappointments, change your expectations.
Yeah.
And too often people at work or in a relationship keep getting frustrated and disappointed because they have the same expectation that inevitably gets disappointed or let down.
Yeah.
And it's the same disappointment. And so you always got to check what your expectations are to make sure you're having a good life. But when I say about expectations on this end, it's about me and my wife being on the same page.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so where frustrations were coming from, if I say, hey, I'm going to be home at 5:00 on Monday.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell her about the dinner, the recruiting appointment I had, or if I say I'm not traveling next week and then I travel and she wants to go on a date night, or I need to go put the kids to sleep, or she's overwhelmed. When life feels chaos, like it's chaos, that transpires into everything else at home, to your children, to your relationship. And that was happening for me. And so what my wife and I had to do, and this changed the game, because when I was at work, when I did this right, I was able to be all in, focused.
Yeah.
And when I was home or at the sporting event or on our date night, I was able to be all in and present and calm. It is Sunday planning.
Yeah.
If you take time on Sunday, and I do this for my business, I do this for my personal life, it has changed the game for me on so many layers, and I can't even imagine where I would be without it. I'd be, Stephen Covey talks about the 7 habits of highly effective people. If you're living a life where you're always in the bucket of urgent and important,
Yeah.
everything is just always a 911, you will get burnt out. And that is where burnout comes from, is there's no organization to your life, and it's wrong time, wrong place. Everything's 911.
Yeah.
And that's what was happening. And so what happens on Sunday planning, it allows you to time bucket your week. And, there's an analogy called big rocks, little rocks, pebbles, and sand, where if you take a jar, put the big rocks in first, everything else fits in.
Yeah.
And so when we plan on Sunday, we go through the whole week, and I put the big rocks in. What is most important to my life? That business money, nothing comes in front of it.
Yeah.
That is date night. That is me putting my children to sleep here, here, and here. It is taking my kids to school here. It is me going to the gym here. It is a doctor's appointment I have to do here. It is these key business meetings that are very important to my business and me here, here, and here. We will go through the week, and there's juggling, there's moving. But this is
negotiating.
There's negotiating. Like, I can't do this. I got to travel here. At the end of these, sometimes 2-hour sessions with my spouse, she voices what's important to her in the week and her big rocks. I voice to her what my big rocks are. We put the kids in there. At the end of it, we have a good plan.
Yeah.
It's a plan we both have agreed to. And so what happens is, if I'm, in this planning session, if Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm working from 6 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night, if she doesn't see me all day, she's not home and frustrated. I don't come home to this really frustrating situation because she knows with our planning we did, I'm going to be home Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she knows I'm going to put the kids down here, here, and here. She knows date night is here. And when you can have that type of level of organization and working on the family, on, the business, on your health, not in it. Because when you get in the week and the week owns you, you're in it.
Yeah.
You got to work on it one time a week. For me, that is Sunday. And when you're trying to live a life with a significant other, that piece has been key. And when I'm at work, because she's agreed to it, I'm all in and I get top tier results.
Yeah.
When I'm on date night, when I'm taking my son to school, all these things that we've agreed to, I am present and creating memories that are impactful. So that's one. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2, as you have kids, they all have their own personalities, their own life, their own problems. The more I've had more kids, you're in the same boat, 4.
Yep.
I've come to this ritual in my family that has been, and I didn't know it would turn into this. It was an idea I had 7 years ago, And the way it has evolved, it has been magical. And the more kids I've had, it's been very impactful. We do what we call a special day, one time a month.
Oh,
Okay. So what this is, whatever their birthday is, that day in that month is their special day.
oh,
And it has been so cool, Hunter, because now my, 3 of my 4 kids are older. They can talk, they can communicate. They plan their special day all month long. They talk about it. We talk about it at dinner, like, ooh, what if we did this? What if we did that? And it's important when you do special days. It's not you just going out and spending money every time.
yeah.
We do service projects. We go on hikes. We go visit people. And then, of course, there's a lot of fun intertwined with that throughout the year.
Is that you as a family go and they pick, or you
So
take them one-on-one?
I take them one-on-one.
Wow.
It is. And, my wife and I sometimes will do it together.
Yeah.
But the purpose of it is it's to give individual attention to that child.
Yeah.
They get, they hear the stories. You get to check in on how they're doing. They know it's their time every month. And a lot of times where a child gets, in a chaotic place, they don't, just like that organized approach with my wife is having that planning session. So she feels safe. She feels in control. Your children, do you ever do that with your children?
Yeah.
And if you step back as a parent, there's a thing called information bias.
Yeah.
Which is you think what you're thinking your children know. You think your schedule that might feel organized, the family's aware of it, but it's your job as the parent to bridge that gap. And so for me, where a child gets out of hand, they don't know when they're going to get dad's time.
Yeah.
In most cases. And the moment when I did the special day, I might go hard for a month, and we have family dinners. Like, they know their moments where we are there as a family.
Yeah.
But they know when they get their one-on-one time every month. It is not interrupted. It's typically most of a full day, and it is awesome. That's been some of the greatest memories I've had. And right now, my second to youngest, she's 3. She doesn't quite understand the special day, but she sees her 2 older siblings go out and do these, and she's now got her special days have started.
Yeah.
And she doesn't understand that it's only supposed to be one time a month. Yeah. So every morning I wake her up. Her name's Demsley. She will say, "Dad, is today my special day?" And it's been really cute. So when you ask what's advice to like balance it, go accomplish big things in work, but still feel and the magic of the and be a good father, a good supporting cast for the family, a good significant other, and a good business owner and a good producer in the business world, the magic of the and is there. Yeah. And the 2 things for me is it's all about your planning and the diligence of that. Like that is that I can't overestimate the game changer that made in my relationship and being organized there. And then, making sure there's dedicated time.
This is like struck a big nerve with me, as I'm also in the thick of it. Yeah. And I want to dwell on this because there's part of this realization that I've had as of late, which is life is all about expectation management, even with customers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right? With customers, with people in your church, with your spouse, with your kids, with your friends. It's because I feel, and I would presume most people feel this way, a thread of stress if there's an expectation that I'm not fulfilling. Yeah. And that's constantly going. And so if a catastrophe happens at work, not only am I dealing with the stress of work, but I have this stress of the expectation wasn't managed at home. Yeah. And so the power of being able to set the expectations well. And I saw this work out magically, coincidentally, in the last month or so with a really, really big project that was the most important moment of my career. And I set expectations. I was like, look, expect that I'm basically out of town for 2 weeks. Like that's the way to think of it. Dad isn't home. You're doing bedtime, but then we're going to go do this trip, me and you. And I remember talking to my wife, and there's something powerful about this too, where if I could just do a tangent to praise wives who support their husbands in entrepreneurial endeavors, because I am moved by the power of that. When I was doubtful of myself or nervous or anxious, she was like a solid as a rock. And I had this guilt. I was like, I feel like I'm not taking care of you because I'm away. And she said, I'm good because you told me it would take this long. Yeah. I'm really good with that. And that gave me so much more power.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if I hadn't done that, and there had been scenarios where I haven't, it's just, you said you'd be home.
Correct.
And that is a very understandable perspective.
Yeah.
Totally reasonable.
It is, man. And that, you know, when you asked me that question, I said, I've made all the mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where, when those mistakes were made, it just, you know, it does throw you and them off. And what happens is you were effective for 2 weeks because you were empowered to do it because your significant other knew what the expectation was. And so it's I cannot overestimate how important that is. The other thing I would, you know, encourage, I think when you are in the workspace at the levels we are, our job, Hunter, is to solve the biggest problems that exist within the company. Like we're now, you know, there's no one else that the problem goes to. It all rolls up to me and my partners, right? And so sometimes you got to be careful, no matter how little or big your problem is, the energy you bring home from work.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was moments, and I got to be careful how I explain this, because it's not that you keep away information from family or significant other. It's how you bring the information to them that does matter. And I'll give you an example. There was an individual I worked with that him and I were different personalities. Mm-hmm. We didn't get along well. Our values were a little different.
Yeah.
And we would argue, and I would come home and I would tell my wife all the bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And who wouldn't in a significant other relationship? It's who you talk to. And so I would talk to her, I'd vent to her, and this went on for quite some time. And what she didn't hear is when the argument was resolved, or when it wasn't a big deal and we became friends in the workspace, or anything that was like really, really positive. And the moment when work gets really hard, people wonder why their significant other feels not supportive. And they're like, just quit. It's not worth it. Like, you're not happy.
I've seen all the negative.
That's right.
Sacrifice, right?
That's right. And that's because it's our job, or, you know, both jobs. But in my situation, it was my job to bring home the wins too, and to make sure that I did that, if not more, or in balance with the negative. And, you know, I learned that lesson a long time ago too, where no matter how hard the day was, when my wife says, "How was your day?"
Yeah.
It's not, "Oh my gosh, it was so hard, I'm so tired." And that's all they always hear.
Yeah.
It's okay to tell them how you feel, but it was like, "But this went well and this went great. I'm so happy." If you can do that well as a significant other, Hunter, when you get to those moments where you're like, "I need 2 weeks, imagine I'm out of town."
Yeah.
Because it's a two-edged sword here. You only get that level of support from your significant other if they see that you're happy.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's all they want for you.
Yeah.
They want money, they want safety in the family. But if all they see from their spouse is they're tired and they're frustrated and they're not happy, over time, when you ask for those additional supporting, you know, miles, which is, "I need 2 weeks, I need a late night tonight." You will find your significant other get burnt out of those requests. If they don't see you happy and fulfilled. So that's another one I would layer in there. It's very important that you bring home the positive and be so cognitive of it. I mean, there's so many times where a rep comes to me and they're overwhelmed and they're like, I can't do this anymore. I got to quit because of my significant other. I'm like, well, when we talk, you love this job. You're making good money. Like, why does she or he feel that? And when we pull back the layers of the onion, they created that scenario in that home.
It's venting.
Correct. So you got to be so cognitive of that.
So, man, okay, we are drifting into solving Hunter's problems. Because, like, I have Aaron across from me who I trust and respect and admire. And one of the things that I think about a lot, and my wife is like, her perspective is unfolding in front of my eyes as you talk, which is it's a very interesting thing. When something good happens, it's very difficult for me to feel proud of it. And I want to have this mentality of Kobe Bryant up 2-0. And the reporter's like, "Why aren't you happy? You're up 2-0. He says, "Well, job's not finished." because the good things doesn't mean that the great thing will happen. And so I'm very like even keel on those. It's very hard to feel proud until it's done. And my wife is always so sweet of like, I just want you to feel proud. Right. And so maybe walk me through, how often do you feel proud?
Yeah.
When do you feel proud? Under what circumstances? How do you avoid being prideful?
Yeah.
Right.
I relate to that approach, by the way. I'm the same way. And I think that's what makes us so competitive and so good. We never feel satisfied. It's a curse and a blessing.
Yeah.
And I think there's a healthy balance to it, which is, living in the moment and knowing that you're doing your best. And I get this one from my mom, and I'm so grateful for her. She's a social worker, a very well-known social worker in the state of Utah. And, there were moments throughout my teenage years, I was just feeling super overwhelmed. I couldn't feel proud. I felt like it was never enough. And she would come to me and say, who's putting these expectations on you? And I'm like, I guess nobody, me. And she's like, okay, well, let me ask you some questions. Are you like giving it your absolute best? And I'm like, yeah, there's nothing more. I'm giving it my best. She's like, okay, you gave it your best. Then come what may. Like give up the pressure, give it up. Like get the pressure out of your energy.
Yeah.
If you're giving your best, you can't control everything. So tomorrow you'll fight another day.
Yeah.
And that was so empowering to me to have that paradigm shift, to make sure I can give myself permission when I'm explaining how much more I want to go accomplish and how I know it's not finished and it's not perfect, that I can say, but today I gave my best and I'm proud.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of this, and that. And I talked in those terms because, of course, I'm never satisfied. Job's never done for me. I want to win and dominate in 5 million ways all at once. And it's like, that's what makes me great. It's what makes you great. But when you can live in the lens of, but did I give my best for what I had today? And if that's a yes, release the pressure that's not all done. Release the pressure that's not perfect or you made a mistake.
Yeah.
Because you gave your best. There's nothing else you can do. That's one. Number two, when I talk about bringing good energy home, it's not where it's like, but this made me happy. This made me happy. For me, what I found, it's giving the additional context to my significant other. That if I'm complaining about something, I'm very objective in it, which is I'll make sure she understands, but I'm going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. And
I don't blame him for saying this. I don't blame him for doing this. And I have a plan, and like I have to give the positive side. I have to make sure they know what the resolution is or being worked on. Because, going back to this example of this guy, I remember this individual, we did not like each other for a good amount of time. Then we got to a point in the business where, truthfully, I grew up. I grew up and I wasn't so emotional, and we became really good friends.
Yeah.
And we worked at the same company for 15 years. And guess what would happen every time we would go to the company Christmas party, the company award events, and that person was there? My wife was very standoffish. She hated him because I spent so many years not giving the benefit of the doubt to the person, and I made him the villain.
Yeah.
Or the situation, the problem, and not me. So much, so long that my wife loves me and sees me as someone great, that she hated that person. And when we got over it and we were great, I was great to be in a room with them. My wife, had a hard time with that because of the environment I created. And so, I just see this mistake made so often where it is okay to vent. It is okay to list your fears, but your significant other also needs to hear the objective side of those feelings. Yeah. And to know that it's going to be okay and why it's where it is, and it's all good. Yeah. And when you do that, they give the space, they give the support, they give the additional asks of the 2 hard week stints. Wow. And all that. So
I love this idea. I love this idea so much of venting, but trying to be objective. Yeah. Because it's important to vent. It's important to not withhold. It's important to be transparent, but trying to be objective and even kill is a good thing too. Like maybe even before you vent, it's like write it down to try to then go get that objectivity. Yeah. And then the other thing that I'd love to kind of understand from your perspective is, and I thought a lot about this, there are a lot of personalities online talk about success who do it in a way that I don't know how many of them are going to have genuinely loving people at their funeral.
Yeah.
And in particular, family.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about the GOAT entrepreneur of our time, maybe ever, Elon Musk. Like, obviously, I think what he's done is outstanding, and we as a humankind should all be grateful for his inventions.
Yeah.
But like, at what cost?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? At what cost do you sacrifice the relationship with somebody who you've made this commitment to, the mother of your children? And can you talk about prioritizing these rocks first?
Yeah.
These are the rocks you need to do first before you do anything else.
Yeah.
And planning and setting those expectations are just like, oh man, it's such a, I think it's a fallacy of I'm almost over this hill and then everything will be good.
It's a facade, dude. And I'm telling you, it's a dangerous holding back facade. And I'll tell you, one of my bosses I reported to, also mentor, very grateful for him. He said something to me one day and he's like, dude, there is no sit on a lawn chair and you've arrived and it's over.
Yeah.
And he's like, you enjoy the journey now.
Yeah.
But life is life. You're here to go create. Like when they say the devil's hands or like the devil's in idle hands.
Yeah.
That is such a true statement. Like there are so many studies that point when you are idle, that is when you get lazy, you fall into bad habits, you do not great things. When you are busy, creating, engaged, that is when you have, happiness, joy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it is a pursuit. And the moment I find young people, say, I'm going to go hard for 10 years and then I get to relax. It's like, no, go hard, but do it in harmony.
Yeah.
Enjoy the journey. Life is happening for you, not to you. There's no destination. Give that facade up, because when it comes, like, Hunter, how many times have you and I said, when I get this, I will be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you get it, it's like, no, now your new standard is I want this. And then it never, have you been there? Like I remember I said, when I first started doing door to door, my manager made $300K in a year. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like if I ever made that amount of money, I would be the happiest person there is. All my problems would be solved. I remember getting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, nothing changed. Like, yeah, I'm happy, but I've upped a little bit of my lifestyle now. And like, there's some more joy that comes with that. But I don't feel like I've arrived. Now I want this, and now I want this. It has been that way my whole life. And so I am done. I've given up the pressure and this like drive to arrive, and I'm just living. Like I'm just living. And it has been so wonderful to be in the moment and just live. And I'm going to enjoy every step of the way. I'm done fighting for the arrival. I am done trying to imagine it, because I'm doing it right now. Yeah. And it's been empowering. Now, one thing I'll say too about, people maybe not want to show up to your funeral. I read this Harvard article, through this class I'm going through, and they were stating the 3 traits that they've like whittled down to people that are, the biggest success stories, people who would be at their funeral. Like, it's funny you say this, because this is kind of what they were talking about. And through this study from Harvard, there's 3 traits. Okay. You ready for them? So number 1, it is empathy. Like the person who understands real empathy and, can go, understand someone else's perspective and be there for them. That trait goes a long way. Next, it is enthusiasm. Oh yeah. If the person can approach problems with, we'll figure it out. It is, having enthusiasm. I do sales for a living. We know sales is a transfer of energy. So it's like, everything's a transfer of energy. People feel and react off energy. Okay. And then the last one is it's integrity. Yeah. And those 3 traits are what the study at least showed are where people, you're in those books for people that like, if you die, I'm at that person's funeral. Like that guy, that woman was honest. They kept their words. They lived a life of integrity. They had empathy, and they had good enthusiasm. Like they were a joy to be around.
Do you think it's possible to do all three and achieve great business success?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if anyone gave me feedback, they would say I'm too nice.
You are very nice. You're very nice.
And sometimes that helps me. Sometimes that, can work against me. And so I absolutely think it is. And I'll tell you this, at least for me, I don't even care if someone thinks it's not.
Yeah.
Because for me, I want to embody those three things.
Yeah.
Again, I told you the reason I started VITL, I wanted to have integrity and keep my word.
Yeah.
That means so much to me. Like it means so much to me. I've been in really hard situations, and I hope people say he did always do what was right. Like that means a lot to me. And then having empathy, there's a balance there. As a father, you need to know both sides of empathy, which is I need to hold this person accountable because I know that's what they need to get to this next level or to learn this attribute or to learn work ethic, right? So there's layers to empathy. It's not being the nice guy. It is understanding where they are and having enough love to go manage them right, motivate them correctly, or to give up, like meaning like let loose a little bit on them, right? So there's layers to that game. And then to have enthusiasm, dude, that is a choice every day.
Yeah.
How you show up to everything you do. And I'll tell you, I'm going to give you one more life lesson here.
Hey, I'll take all of them.
So 20 years of knocking doors. Okay.
Yeah.
Here is the greatest life lesson that I took from knocking doors. When you go knock doors, man, it is hard. It is emotional. You'll hit someone's door, and I've had some guns pulled on me, like those who are in the door-to-door industry understand it. I've had people open the door and drop, like, what the F are you doing here? Get a real job. It's really emotional. And they say the greatest time to make your sell, the next sell, is after your first sell. Because when you make a sell, you're on a high, you have high energy. And my biggest days were because my energy was so locked in. I was in the zone.
Yeah.
Nobody said no to me because I was calm. I was confident.
Yeah.
That's all about energy. And when you have something hard happen, someone slams a door in your face, they say F you, all the things, and you let that affect your energy and you take that to the next door, well, what's your response going to be on the next door?
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah.
Not great. And then if you take that to the next door, you're not going to have a great day. And so here's the lesson, dude. I got really good, no matter what happened, because life is life. I got really good at controlling my perspective and energy.
Yeah.
So if someone came to the door and said, F you, I got really good at controlling that and not letting it affect me, not getting too high with the highs, not too low with the lows, and staying in a really good state regardless of circumstances.
Yeah.
And then I would take that to a door in a good way, and then I would have more success through the day because I was controlling that energy.
How do you control it? How do you control your perspective?
Yeah, it's all about your self-talk. Like, dude, when people say talking to yourself and the words of affirmation are silly, they're not. They're just not. Like, if you out loud, and there's studies that show this, if you out loud say, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
Your body starts to bring that energy to that thought. Actions will follow. So self-talk and reassurance and affirmations, they do make a difference. And really knowing who you are, like not being lost. And when someone comes at you and you don't have your identity figured out, you're going to go internal and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, maybe they're right.
Yeah.
And so you really got to take time to figure out, who am I? Where am I going? What are my belief systems? What are my values?
Yeah.
As you start to figure those things out, when bad energy comes to you, you lean back on those and say, no, I know who I am. I know where I'm going. I know what's important to me. And those are your rock. And, I'm a very religious person. That's something that's kept me steady. But that's not the only way. Like there's like you just got to know what your rock is and lean on it. But the reason I highlight this, so greatest lesson ever, once I learned how to do that in the doors, that is when I hit biggest income years, because it didn't matter if I got to cancel. If someone said F you, nothing would affect me for the most part. And I was so good at flipping the switch and just staying in a peak zone for long periods of time. And so this is why I say it's the greatest lesson. I now apply that to life.
Yeah.
So when I drive into the driveway and I had a hard day, when I know when I walk in through that door, what do my kids expect and what does my wife expect when I come through that door?
Yeah. Bring home the good energy.
That's what they expect. And it is my job, if I want good results, if I want a good life, to do that. And so when they say enthusiasm is one of those three, that one hit home to me, because it is a skill. If you learn, it will impact everything. It is my job to flip the switch, no matter how tired I am, go in with good energy, kiss the wife, say, how was your day? With energy. The mood is different. It's amazing to show up to the date night, to show up to my kids' sporting events, to show up to the one-on-one with a disgruntled employee, to show up to the correlation meeting I'm running, to show up to a high stakes meeting if I'm trying to raise capital for my company. When you show up to those things with good energy, that was a lesson that it transpires to everything.
It's so powerful. And I'd love to understand the mechanics. Like, you're a human being who doesn't always have good energy. What do you do to replenish? Do you go somewhere private? Do you write things down? Do you go break things? Like what do you do?
It's different for everybody. So I had a chance to go to a Tony Robbins event.
Oh, cool.
Have you ever been to one of those?
No, I haven't.
Oh, Hunter, they're so freaking good. And what I will tell you, I don't know if you've enjoyed his content as you've grown up. He's been someone I've leaned on a lot throughout my life, and he's getting older. It's kind of wild to think that the era of his live events is at some point and closely going to go away. And so anyone listening,
buy your tickets now.
Like, for real, like, go take advantage of these events. They're amazing. Now, he is talking about uploading his subconscious to an AI robot. It's insane. So he lives on when it's over. But, the reason I highlight this, a couple years ago, this is maybe 7 years ago now, I went to a Tony Robbins event, and it's his beginner event, which is Unleash the Power Within. And what's really cool, the whole event is about this. Your subconscious. How do you control your energy? What are the fundamentals? What are the tactics? And for 4 days, he talks about athletes and how they do it. He talks about psychology behind it. And then on the fourth day, he has you walk across coals.
Oh, wow.
And they're real coals, dude. Like, you have to sign this waiver. And there's a really cool story. I got experience with this, but like, I walked over the coals twice. My first walk, I didn't burn my feet. My second walk, my feet actually got burned and blistered.
Wow.
Like, these are real coals. But for the 3 days prior to walking the coals on the fourth day, this is what he teaches. So a couple things that I took from it that I've definitely done. He talks about, you first got to get grounded of who you are. Like, what are your values, all those things, right? Next, once you get, familiar with this energy, what does it feel like? Like, when you're on top of your game, there's a tangible feeling of joy and happiness and calm confidence. And when you can get that feeling in your body, he then ties it to like physical moves. So I'll give an example. LeBron James, not one of my favorites. I think MJ's better. But when LeBron James goes out on the court, he makes a move. What's his move every single time?
The chalk, throw that.
That's what he does. And that's how he gets in his peak state. Okay. Shaun White, I don't know if you've ever noticed, when he hits the half pipe, hits his chest, jumps on his two boards, and then hits it. So, and he shows all these athletes that do it. Bolt, the runner, he would put his knees up in his chest, and same move every single time. Same move for LeBron James every single time. Same move for Shaun White every time. And Tony talks about these athletes went to him to get those moves.
Really?
And so what they did is they got their why down, they got their fundamentals down, and the energy got in their body. And then he would tie it to this physical move. We know that motion creates emotion. And so, you ask, what are some of the fundamentals? Like, when I was knocking doors and I went to this event, I tied it to my hands. And when I pull my hands to the side and I squeeze them as hard as I can, subconsciously, like because this 4-day event, that like ignites that energy in me, and it like and the association to that energy is there because of this long event I went through. And that's been a powerful thing. And so it's a again, eat your vegetables, can't cut corners. Yeah. Like these are things that I would encourage you to go to these type of events, but these are things that I learned from it. And so when you ask, how do you do it? Yeah, self-talk is one of them, but it's really first getting grounded to what your identity is, who you are, and then going into a place of meditation and breath work and getting to a place of calm, faith-based like confidence, and then tying that real metabolical, like that actual real chemistry feeling to a bodily move, right? Like a bodily action. And then when you fall out of state, you do that move, and it subconsciously gets you into these states quick.
Interesting.
It's really cool.
It's cool. There are several paradigms at play. You have like a little bit of religion. It seems like you have this psychological element to it as well, but then also this motivational from Tony Robbins, all these together. And I really like this idea that you harped on of you have to know who you are. I think one of the hardest things is when you're 20, it's hard to know who you are and easy to see who other people are. Yeah. And you see the highlight reels and you see all the successes and a lot of them are artificial. True. And so it's easy to not know who you are. How did you find out who you are?
Oh man, that's a deep question.
Yeah,
that's a deep question. It's so hard to answer too, because it's like, man, I'm figuring out who I am every day still. And I think that's going back to my mom's thing is if you gave your best, give up the pressure. Yeah. And you are going to continue to figure out who you are, and there is no arrival date. Yeah. You are who you are in that moment, and don't be the same tomorrow as you were yesterday. But man, I'm embarrassed sometimes of who I was when I was young too. Yeah. And it's like, you just don't learn those lessons until you experience them and get older.
You have to fail.
You do. But here's what I'll tell you. I would dedicate it to two things. I grew up in a really good home. Yeah. And I am so grateful for my two parents. Not everybody gets this blessing. So we talked a little bit about relying on your elders and trying to lean on their experience of life. I would tell you what helped me figure out who I was until I really knew who I was is I leaned on two people that they knew who they were. Yeah. And that was my parents. Yeah. And at a younger age, a lot of my decision making was through their lens. Yeah. Not in a bad or naive way. They protected me. They kept me safe. And I think as a young teenager, we resist that. I'm bigger. I'm smarter. I don't need my parents. They're dumb. Yeah. Hopefully whoever's listening to this has parents that are, going to lead them down a good path. But I had that. Yeah. And so I had at least enough emotional intelligence to be willing to live life a little bit through my parents' lens. And as I was figuring out who I was, I am very and forever will be grateful for their steady hand in my young years of life. And then number two, whatever religion, and this is always a touchy topic for people. Sure. I have gravitated personally to religion. Yeah. And it has at least answered some big questions for me of like who I am, where am I going, why am I here, what's next, what's the purpose of life. I have leaned more and more into those certainties the older I've gotten. And part of that is the older I've gotten, I've realized the less I know. Yeah. Like, dude, the older you get, it's just life is.
But you become more comfortable with it.
You do. And I think that's really cool.
It's an unintuitive paradigm for sure.
Correct. That's a key distinguishment, right? And so when you say, how did you get to, knowing who you are? Through the lens of my parents, number two, really diving into my religion and like leaning into those principles. Right or wrong, I believe they're right. And, people believe what they most want. Yeah. And so that's what I've built my life around. And for whatever that is for other people, be passionate about something and know what those things are and help that guide your, core values.
Maybe one action item for the listener, and, everyone has a different path. Yeah. Is how comfortable are you with you? Mm-hmm. And one way to do that is sit by yourself for 30 minutes without any distraction and you'll feel it one way or the other. You'll feel peace or you'll feel anxiety.
True.
And if you tilt towards anxiety, then ask yourself, well, who knows who they are? And they don't even have to be your parents right now, because maybe you don't have good role models in that realm. And if you have nobody who you feel like is a good role model, which everybody should have one person who they can just imagine that they saw them at one point, take them to lunch.
Yeah.
Spend the $20 to take them to lunch and ask, how did you become who you did? People are so flattered by that. Being a mentor, if somebody has their life put together, being a mentor is such a blessing and a privilege.
True.
And then, I mean, I also empathize with that feeling of religion's a very powerful thing, right? It gives you a lot of solace. And again, it's not for everyone. People have different paradigms and beliefs. And the goal of this podcast isn't to dive into that. But there's power in it for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these ideas are really cool with harmony, the power of or. The magic of, the tyranny of or, the magic of and.
Correct.
That to me is so interesting. You can combine these things. And the other backdrop here is, I think the kind of origin point from where we're talking is we like hustle culture. Mm-hmm. We like that. Maybe people who listen to this don't like hustle culture and view the drawbacks of what we're saying as a reason to not hustle and to kind of like coast into a different direction. Because I think it's important to me, like you talked about those 3 personality traits at your funeral that other people will view that you have in order to be there. But there's a 4th for me that when I die, I want to look back and say I gave it all.
Yeah, yeah.
I do not want to feel like I always had a leisurely life. Like I want the scars from trying to help my family get into a place. I want to be the person who helps other families get wealth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so hustle culture, it's like hustle and harmony.
Yeah, I think it's a good, combination of the two. What I would say to that, by the way, Hunter, is anyone who doesn't have the hustle mentality, I would challenge them in a way of, those are some limiting beliefs in my opinion, because whether you're religious or not, like, we're here on this earth for a reason and we're evolving daily. One of the most valuable pieces of jewelry that's ever existed, that's worth more than anything's a diamond. And what makes a diamond worth more is cuts, the more cuts it has. And the only way you cut a diamond is immense amount of pressure.
Yeah.
And so using that as an example, like if you want real fulfillment and you're on that deathbed feeling like you have no regrets, it is play all out.
Yeah.
And
play all out.
It is, dude. And I have this long list that I've kept when I hear these one-liners that I try to teach my kids.
Yeah.
One of them that's on there is, when in doubt, throttle out. Like just play all out. And another one on there is, how you do anything's how you do everything. And so, yeah, dude, I would challenge anyone who thinks that, I'm good, I'm comfortable. It's in the uncomfortability, the cut comes, the pressure has to be there. That is when the new version of you is there. I would challenge you to get uncomfortable. Like, that is, there's a whole nother life there waiting for you.
Yeah.
If you can get rid of the mentality of, a non-hustle culture. Like
I don't like vegetables.
Yeah, dude, you got, that one gets me lit up. So
yeah, but it
got to go for it.
It's a dichotomy. What you're saying.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's not good to feel good where you're at.
Yeah.
But you need to feel good with what you've attempted.
Correct. If you gave your best.
If you gave your best.
So it's like, go as hard as you can, but release the artificial, when I say artificial, we put it on ourselves, pressure along the way that you could have done more, different, or better. You didn't do enough. Go all in life, but enjoy the freaking journey.
Enjoy the
journey. That is just the thing. And and those are words that we all hear, but it's a real mindset that once lived, it's done wonders for me in my life, because there's been so often I just get lost in what I'm chasing and hoping in the sunset.
Yeah.
And it's like, I am done with all of those ideas.
Yeah.
They're not serving me.
Yeah.
I'm going to give my best and enjoy the journey and know today I did well.
Yeah. Speaking of like the wisdom of elders, I heard somebody once talk about you need to avoid the trap that joy occurs in the future.
Yeah.
Joy should occur today.
Yeah. Correct.
You need to look for it. You have to be oriented properly. Let me ask you one last question. It would be awesome if a lot of people heard your advice and took that advice and changed their lives and improved. Let's say no one listens to this, but your kids. And you have a, what is it called where you put in the ground? What's that word, Paul? Time capsule.
Oh.
If you have a time capsule where we were to play this when your kids are 18.
Yeah.
And you have a segment to tell them whatever you want to tell them. What would you tell them?
Oh, man. First I would tell them that Dad loves them and I'm proud of them. So, I'll tell you, someone asked me, I have 3 girls and I have 1 boy. And someone came to me and said, you're such a nice dad. Like, you don't seem to parent your girls very tough. And they're like, you seem pretty, stern with your boy. Your girls seem like they get away with anything. And my response to that person was, I just want my girls to know what love feels like. I just want them to feel loved. And so, to all, answer that question, to all of my children and to my significant other, I just want them to know what love feels like, unconditional love, because that's what they deserve. And that Dad's proud of them, that I love them, and that's unconditional.
I love that.
Yeah.
I don't think I can even add to it because it's so beautiful. But
appreciate that.
Aaron, thank you.
Hey, glad to be here, Hunter. You're one of the best to ever do it. I mean it. It was a pleasure to be on here with you. I hope this podcast blows up for you. If you guys don't know, Enzi is the business that Hunter represents. It is where it is at. They're the best team to work with. So just know how much I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.